I'm speaking really fast because this is a consultant trick. I have about 30 slides, so all you do when you have a lot of slides is speak really fast, right? All right, so I scanned the office before this presentation. I found this slide here, or this photograph. I had to scan it in. This was from a conference I visited when I was in high school. I didn't take the photo, but I was at the conference in 1986, and artificial intelligence is here. It was Hägglunds. I have no partnership with them, but it's kind of interesting, right? Just to put it in perspective, you see the Commodores in 1982, the Desk Compact in 1986. I know half of you sitting there going, what in the world is he talking about? I get it, you're younger, right? But still, for you that have been around for a while, you see where we're coming from. So this is not necessarily something new, right? Some of these things have improved, but what we're talking about here in this conference, I don't think is necessarily that new when it comes to the maintenance perspective. So I did a little bit of training around digital transformation. So one artificial intelligence, one definition here, is the ability of computers to imitate cognitive human functions such as learning and problem solving. So how MIT says you have the machine learning, you have the robotics, you have the NLP. That's what they call artificial intelligence, right or wrong, but this is a little bit what I've been using when we talk about artificial intelligence. I'm giving you this because I needed to go back. In the last 2-3 years, I've been kind of going back with the digital transformation, learning, trying this out. Like I said, we've been working with Aspen Tech, and we've been working with some other companies around digital transformation. So we had to go back and see what is it we're really talking about. So for maintenance or for digital transformation, the integration of digital technology into all areas of business, resulting in fundamental changes in how business operate and how they deliver value to the customer. And that can be pretty much anything, right? Anything from ones and zeros. So these definitions you have to be a little bit careful about, because people like myself, we come up with these expressions, right? Asset performance management, digital transformation, generative AI. It's like, okay, well, what is it? What does it mean? I struggle with it. So what I've seen out there, I'm not going to tell you what the future is going to be because I don't know. It's not my expertise. But I can see going around the world, working in mines and paper mills. I see more paper mills than it's healthy for anybody. Food industry and so forth. What I see out there today, and what I think about it, this is my personal opinion. Asset performance management, what they call that is software with the ability to predict failures using sensors, tags, and input. That's what I think. Asset performance management is much larger than that if we have experts in the room. But that's what I've seen today. What I see used in the industry today, what people are talking about, is basically taking the sensors that we have on equipment, adding sensors to equipment, predicting failures. There's some companies trying to organize your technical information. So they take all your manuals, all your work orders, and they try to take all those and organize them for you. That's where I've seen the use in the industry today. Are there future uses? Are there other things we can use it for? Absolutely. I'm sure it is. Not my expertise, but this is what I've seen. So what I compare it with is one of these. If you work a little bit on cars, you can hook up a computer to your car. You can buy one specific for Audi, BMW, or just one generic. They're a little bit more expensive, right? Plug it in. And we were working with my son's 2015 Audi the other day. We plug it in, and what do you get? I get the code misfire, right? One of the cylinders are misfiring. It doesn't tell me which one. It's 4 cylinders in this car. And I think this is top of the line. I mean, this is an industry that has one machine. They're similar, all these machines. There's millions and billions of cars. But what you get is misfire. What are the costs for those? Well, we can have 10, 15 causes. It can be the spark plugs, right? It could be the coils. It could be a gasket leak. It could be a bunch of things that causes that to happen. I see the same thing with machines. When I start actually digging into what are we looking at in maintenance, 99% of the people here talking about vibration sensors, maybe temperature sensors. That's what we're looking at today, the industries I've been to. There's a lot more we can do, but that's what I've seen that people are using it for. We have a vibration temperature sensor, and we say we can find failures early. Now this, if you take this little piece, that's not new, right? I've been in this industry for 30 years, and we were doing online vibration monitoring back then. I think we did it 20 years before that. That's nothing new. However, sensors are cheaper, computers are cheaper, more powerful. Sure, great, that's good stuff. But you can't call that new. So I'm going to jump and go back. So there's different types of, if I understand it right, there's different types of ways we can monitor a machine. If we have a sensor, we can then just give the data, take the data from that sensor and look at it over time, right? And see if something funky happens with a line. We don't tell the computer anything. We don't give it any rules. High temperature is bad, low temperature is bad, high vibration. We don't do any of that. We just look at the data. When the data looks weird, we say this is not normal. That is called like the machine learning, true machine learning. Just put a bunch of data. When all that data looks weird, squiggly line is different, we need to do something. Or we can tell physics-based, we can just tell it, like, look, there's some rules. We know the failure modes, so we're going to tell the computer, here are some of the failure modes. And now we give the computer a step ahead, right? High temperature bearing is bad. Like high vibration is bad. Now we can start from a point, well, okay, the computer can have a learning point, or you can do some type of mix. Now, when we talk about condition monitoring and put this in perspective of what we need to do as maintenance managers and supervisors day to day, how does this work? Very quickly, this is how we see the maintenance processes that hasn't changed, I think, for 1,000 years, maybe 2,000 years, and probably before that. You'll find a Roman manual from the Roman times when they maintained an aqueducts, and they talked about planning, scheduling, inspections, and executing the maintenance correctly, right? This circle, it's been around forever. So you have a market that wants your product. You need to be able to take your production plan and your maintenance plan and join the two, the red and the green box, right? That's the main reason why we need to have operations involved in reliability maintenance, because we can't just take equipment down whenever we want. There's other reasons, but that's one. To be able to plan and schedule our work, we need to find failures early. So I call that condition monitoring. Some people differentiate between condition monitoring, inspection, predictive maintenance. Those are just different ways of doing what I call condition monitoring. Does that make sense? I mean, I inspect it, either use AI, I have somebody go out and take vibration readings, I look, listen, feel, smell. It's an inspection. So I inspect it, and when I know something is about to go wrong, I plan the problem, the corrective maintenance, I schedule it if I do things right, then I do the work, execute the repair. Once I've done that, one of the hardest things to do is for maintenance people to actually record what they did, right? We don't like that. And then if I have my database, I can actually do root cause on that data. And then from that root cause, typically there's some type of corrective actions that also need to be planned and scheduled. This is kind of the maintenance cycle, if you simplify reliability maintenance. And what happens in many places I go to, many places that need help, that's where I go, they work in that do circle. We call it the circle of despair. That means the craftsperson come in at 7 a.m. this morning, and they have no idea what they're going to do today. Can you guys imagine? Nothing planned, nothing scheduled. They don't know what to do today. So the first thing they do is go find out, what do I need to do? They can't find the supervisor. Finally, they find the supervisor. They get the job. Then they need to say, oh, I need to go look at the job. Then there's a coffee break, right? Now, when I do an assessment, I go to the storeroom and I look at the storeroom and I see, is there a line outside the storeroom after the coffee break? That means the jobs weren't planned because they're looking for parts, right? So you see, and of course you don't go alone to the storeroom. You always go 2 and 2. Unless you're in Australia, because they have apprentices, so they go 4 and 4, very efficient, right? And stand outside the storeroom waiting for the spare part. And by the time, if you have a lucky day, you get your spare part to start working at 10:30. If it's a bad day, you don't get your spare part. You have to find your supervisor to get another job. You start looking at that job at 1 o'clock, and at 3, depending if you want overtime or not, you start working on the job, right? So these are the basic processes. They don't change with the technology. The blue box, you need to find your spare parts mainly and your tool and your instructions to be able to plan and schedule the work, right? This hasn't changed. So what I encourage you to do, don't lose track of that, guys, when you listen to this new technology. It's great stuff, don't get me wrong, but this still needs to have to be done.